if you want to grow, and it doesn't matter at what scale, you can be like doing remodels, or if you're building ground ups, or if you want to do this many million, or if you want to do this many million, you can come here and just take invaluable information. And then also, as much as you're learning from inside the class, you're learning just as much outside the class. So I'm actually like just super excited. I'm like so amped to go home and like start from A tomorrow.
Thanks for flying in from San Diego, Brandon. We're at the conclusion of the Contractor Coalition, edition number 7. Why did you come?
You know, I came to a point in my business, and it's grown really fast, and we're doing great. We're making X amount of money more each year, but also I also came to the point where I was actually doing this all on my own and internalizing everything in my systems, but they're all in my head and nothing was on paper. So I have a wife who helps me out from time to time, and we have 5 kids. And she said, Brandon, if something ever happens, everything's in your head and nobody can take over your jobs. I can't step in or anything. I will be completely lost. So she's like, you have to get systems involved like immediately. So, and not just like systems, but actually, write them out and do all this stuff. And it's like, it sounds like a daunting task. And so I just felt like, man, I'm like kind of at this weird place where if I'm going to have to go through and basically internally rebrand in a sense of like setting structure and build the foundation. I've been following these guys on Instagram for 6 years, whatever. Like who better to learn from? So at this point, I also work with some interior designers, and they're like, one of them met Brad, and she's like, I talked to Brad about you. He was asking who I use for a builder, and you have to go to the coalition. So here I am, and it's just, I don't know, that's why I'm here.
I think that's a great reason. How your expectations versus what you've sort of accumulated over the last couple of days, how do you balance what you were thinking this would be about versus what it actually was about?
I think so actually coming into it, sometimes I call it imposter syndrome. I'm like, man, like, how am I even here? Like, how am I like selling millions of dollars of work? And like, I'm just like this guy from North County, San Diego, and I have like that feeling, and it's like, you're in charge of these people's houses and like, essentially their livelihoods. And let's see, I don't even know where I'm going. But anyways, so I was kind of nervous going into it because I also know like some of the key players. You have like these guys, and then you read these profiles of who else is attending and stuff like that. I'm like, man, this guy's like, doing ground ups at this level. Like, this is nuts, But it's like so funny because it's like you even talk to guys like Brad, who's doing a $30 million build or whatever. But it's like, he wasn't there 6 years ago, like, and his process is the same. Like, if he was doing a $2 million remodel or a $30 million build, like, he has that structure and that foundation. So, I mean, essentially, yes, I was nervous because I was going to meet like some of these giants, but like at the end of the day, like, they're just normal guys that set up a structure and a way they do things that has been very successful, and it works. And you have guys that are doing it from each end of the spectrum, from low end to high end. So
what would you say in terms of the other builders that are here, some of the conversations you've had, in between the classes and at meals? What are some takeaways or, kind of some nuggets that you've learned even from the other builders that are here from around the country?
Yeah, so it's cool too that we're in Omaha because there's been a focus on Builder Trend, and we just recently transitioned to using Builder Trend. So a lot of these guys do use Builder Trend, not all of them, but a lot of them do. So then just on the side note, it's just like asking them questions, and everybody's just here, like, we're not competing with each other. Like, some of the guys are even in the same market, but they're still like friends and stuff like that. But I don't necessarily have anybody competing in my market, but it's just like, we want to help each other out because like, we're all dads, we're all builders, we're all just in it together. Like, you kind of just like have this brotherhood, like this like blood like runs through you, like, as a contractor. So just like, out of the classes is just as important as in the classes, because that's when you're like, hey, what do you do when you're in this situation? Or, hey, can you help me in this situation with Builder Trend? And like, like, I have guys that are like, here's my template, dude. Just take it. Here you go. Like, I know that person has spent hours and hours and hours of developing it, and they're gonna like give it to me, and that's gonna save me like so much time that's been like just looming over my head, switching into Builder Trend. So just like that as an example. And then there's other contractors here from California where we have weird rules and harder taxes and stuff like that, because California, it's a great place to live, but it sucks otherwise. So it's like, and then there's a couple other guys from California, and it's like, and we can just feel each other's pain and like how little of money we make because we're paying so much to taxes or whatever, or how many more loops we have to jump through. So it's like, it's just so cool to have that camaraderie and like have each other's pains, have each other's victories, and like, kind of just really come together out of the classes and grow just as much, if not more, than in the classes.
If you were to take, I guess, what are 1 or 2 or 3 things that you are looking forward to implementing, within the next 10 days when you get back?
Some I have to do baby steps, obviously, but I'm actually like just super excited. I'm like so amped to go home and like really start like tomorrow. Like I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna like I'm honestly just gonna like kind of start from A. And I'm also another thing that's so cool is you have the Dropbox, right? So you can kind of go through and go back through all the slides. So just kind of like business strategy and kind of just go from A to, maybe I'll start A to C the first week, and then D to F or whatever the second week. And I'll just kind of like little by little and just make sure like we're doing things and implementing things, just building a stronger, we're gonna add on basically. So we have a foundation, we're just gonna add on and we're gonna make it bigger and better. So
I love it. If you were to describe the Contractor Coalition to a builder who is thinking about attending, what would you tell them?
If you wanna grow, and it doesn't matter at what scale, you can be like, it's kind of funny, it's like me and another guy were talking, I'm like, I'm at this much to this much and you're at this much, and like it's like I want to be where he's at and he wants to get to here, but then at the same time like we're both thinking like, is it better to be like where we're kind of at but just kind of master it, because maybe we can make just as much money and just like really capture it, and like, yes we can grow, but like I don't know. So it doesn't matter where you're at basically, if you're doing remodels or if you're building ground ups, or if you want to do this many million, or if you want to do this many million, like you can come here and just take in just invaluable information. And then also, again, as much as you're learning from inside the class, you're learning just as much outside the class. So it's like been 4 days of just refreshing and like, kind of like, I feel like breath just kind of, blown in, and you're just like, I'm not gonna say I'm like on a high, but I'm like, just definitely like prepared, and I'm focused, and I want to go back and I want to just crush it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the general consensus that I can feel is like people are energized and like ready to go. Someone else had mentioned previously that, it's almost like an accountability, and because they had come to us several, and I said, well, why do you keep coming back, to more and more, other than all the learnings? Like I just keep getting 10% better, 10% better, 10% better, and I'm just honing my skills a little bit more. Do you think this is something you would come back to and attend again in the future?
Absolutely. So I'm gonna try to send my my wife, who she is my business partner. I'm gonna try to send her next time, and then if I can come, awesome. Or if not, I can watch the kids, whatever. Yeah. And then
bring the kids. Why don't you be a trailblazer? Just bring all of them. Bring all 5 of them. Just sit them in the front row.
So they're gonna have to take over eventually, so that'll be fine. Definitely. And then I think just and it's funny, I've been fighting AI, like the whole idea of it, and like kind of like, I'm not gonna call myself a dinosaur, but I'm just like, dude, I don't want to use it. Like, stop telling me about ChatGPT, stop telling me about all this stuff, and like, but really it's such a tool that is so crucial, and like, it's coming if you want it to come or not. So it's like, you're gonna learn, and it's coming fast. So in every single year it's changing, and it's gonna change the game. So I think it's so crucial for me to at least come once a year and kind of catch up in what's going on with that whole AI part of the game, and just do that. And then also like you're taking so much information in at one time from these classes. So you're going to miss stuff. So you're going to catch stuff every single time. And then again, you know, you're going to have that camaraderie with the other builders and stuff like that also give you, you know, like a fresher breath air. Like, I don't know. So I'll definitely be back at least once a year. And then I'm going to try to send, you know, I don't know, my wife as well, so she can come and take from it and, you know, just ask questions. It's cool. It's like, if you're a guy, if you're a girl, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, like we have girls in here that are like crushing it, and a woman, you know, she's crushing it, and, you know, she's bringing stuff to the table where we're like, oh, that's so awesome. Like, you know, that you're doing, like, you know, so it's not just for guys, it's like for women as well. So, or if you want to be an interior designer and kind of like, or you are an interior designer and you want to figure out like what builders are doing, because that's so key too, right? It's like, as our builds are getting bigger and bigger, it's like the interior designer is very much so involved in our process. So it's like, it'd be good for interior designers as well.
I love it. Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming to the Contractor Coalition. Great to meet you, and we'll see you at the next one.
All right.
Thanks, Brandon. If you're interested in attending the Contractor Coalition in the future, please head to contractorcoalitionsummit.com or follow us on Instagram to find out more.